Hello everyone, today in this evening, in this video, we will fight against the advanced character of our world around us, and the topic today will be the topic of literature. I will go back to some forgotten writers. One of them is Teodor Jeske-Choinski, Polish writer who lived in 1854 till 1920 and was a conservative Catholic Polish writer, anti-communist. Why I mention it later, I will explain it to you more in details. He was famous at the turn of the two centuries, 19th and 20th century. His novels were translated into many European languages, but after communists came into power in Poland, he was sentenced to be forgotten, but recently one can observe a slightly revival of the interests in his literary works, in his great heritage we have after him. And his literary heritage is diverse, from polemics, political discussions, to historical novels, and some essays on ancient history, French Revolution, very critically about it, and many, many others. One of the novels I would like to talk about is the novel entitled Last Romance, the story from the times of the Theodosius the Great. Why I really like this novel? Because despite the fact the author is a conservative Catholic writer, he had really critical view on the structures of the church that was formed. Actually, current church is a child of the reign of the Constantine the Great, when the church became a institution associated with the state for the Eastern Christians, and the institution which is state within the state for the Latin Christians, so Western ones, Catholics. And these institutions, when it became in the 4th century AD, so a very powerful and influential politically, attracted many people who shouldn't be actually workers of this institution, priests and presbyters and so on, because these people didn't come to this institution, didn't join it due to their vocation and dedication, but they joined it, many of them, due to their willingness for power and riches. And this is the problem nowadays, because what's the church since these times till now? It's the international company with the board of trustees in nowadays Vatican, with the CAO Pope. I'm telling this not to offend anybody, but this is the way how I see it since the Constantinian time. And the novel itself is very nicely written, very in a very detailed way. The relations between pagans and Christians, who in 4th century were transferred from the persecuted religion till dominating religion within 2-3 generations, we see how the approach of Christians towards pagans and towards themselves, also other fractions, changed, and how the later life of, after especially 380, of many pagans who became loyal to their old traditions looked like, and how also pagan cults were slowly fading away despite the fact they were still alive. This is great representation of the relations between two systems of religions in the time of great change, when Christians from persecuted religion became a dominating religion and changed their approach towards pagans. And many aspects are covered in this great novel, Last Romance by Teodor Jeske-Choinski. That's why I recommend you to read this novel, because this is quite good. Despite the novel was firstly published in the 1890s, so it's quite old. It's really refreshing view of the first centuries of Christianity, especially the very important one, 4th century AD, in which everything changed and Christianity became dominant. And despite the fact the author, one could expect, despite the fact the author was conservative Catholic writer, he had a really sober and critical approach to the church institution, which I really appreciate, because he really wrote his novel based on the historical sources and facts. That's why The Last Romance by Teodor Jeske-Choinski, great novel to be recommended to be read. And luckily translated into many languages, not only available in the original Polish one, that it's quite hermetic. Take care and have a nice evening.